I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for buying a business. And oh my goodness, like always come early, always stay late. So buying a business is the easy part. Making it profitable, that's really, really hard. The more wisdom, experience, stamina, strength that you have. So let's go ahead and start off with let's start off with a situation like with Luke, who owns a company, and so he's got an employee that needs to leave because of family health situation, and looking at replacing that person with somebody else. And that person has said that he doesn't think he wants to do it at this time. I asked Luke if Luke is scheduling a time for me to talk to him, which is good, but I want to know what would Luke like. And Luke went ahead and said, well, if I don't, I said, do you want me to change his mind? And Luke said, well, not if that's not what he wants to do. So, do either of you see the potential flaw in Luke's thinking?
Maybe he's just not really convinced yet.
Okay.
Doesn't know the pros. He's out
Okay.
his potential. If you can get someone, if someone's just guarantees to work, then they want to work. But if you get them to want to work for you, I feel like they might have more of a drive.
Gotcha. Luke, any thoughts you have?
I don't know.
So, a lot of times I share stories, and I don't know that people connect the dots on the stories. I don't think they see the significance of that story. So I have to tell the story again. And people say, I've heard that story. Well, obviously not, because you've heard it, so you intellectually, but you don't know how to apply that story. You don't know you don't know the significance of that story. And so, first employee of Synergy 34 years ago, Mike, I forget his last name, Michael. So his first name was Mike. Oh, it was Matthew. Matthew Michael. Yep, that's what it was. Matthew Michael, first employee. And so we interviewed him, and I had three other business owners, three partners at the time. And so I was 27 years old. And so, I interviewed this guy, Matthew Michael, and he decided not to take the position. He decided to go with that company was just a startup company. So he could make more money. It was, better for him to go ahead and work for a bigger company and everything else. So he said, yeah, I'm not going to take the position. And the three other owners, they were silent partners. So I did the work, and when they started, they owned 51% company. And so when I told him, that, yeah, Matthew had said that he wasn't going to take the position, they said, wow, Mark, that must be very disappointing to you. And I said, why is that? And it's like, well, you were really wanting to hire him. I'm like, oh, I'm going to hire him. And they're like, what do you mean? They said, didn't he say no? I said, yeah, he said no, but he doesn't mean no. This is before I learned from Tom Kuntz, this principle. So at 27 years old, nobody taught me this principle. Like my 3 degrees in business, they didn't teach me this. I don't know. I just knew it. And so, like Tom Kuntz says, like other people were hearing NO, I was hearing KNOW. See, he didn't know what I knew, because if he knew what I knew, then he'd say yes, but he said no. So I knew better. I knew better for him than what he knew for himself. And so they said, but he said no. And I said, well, yeah, but that's because he doesn't, he's going to say yes. And they're just like looking at me and say, okay, Mark, you know. Um, and so I talked to him again, and he said yes. And so, does that help, Luke?
kind of, how do you like,
Why are
I don't
you
know, is it
smiling,
like,
Ben? Ben, why are you smiling?
Just your little head tilt when he said kind of.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Luke.
how do you determine like what is best for the person and then when just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. So for those that are new to that concept, you can get so good in sales. If you're new, you probably aren't that good. Um, and a lot of people never get that good, which is maybe good because they don't have the purity of heart to be able to handle that. And so, how do you know? Well, you have a system and you trust the integrity of the system because integrity is built into the system. And then you ask questions and then you listen. You listen to what the person is saying, not just the words, but the meaning and the essence. So in the mortgage industry, I was 23 years old when I got into the mortgage industry. And there was one guy that joined and he had interviewed, what did he say? I don't know, 35 companies. And we were a little company. And he interviewed 35 companies and he went ahead and then he joined our company. The president of the company, he wasn't real big on praise and positive. He was a Marine, ex-Marine guy. And so he wasn't big on compliments, but he said he worked for Caterpillar all around the world. So traveled, lived all around the world, really successful guy, had his master's degree, MBA. And he said, Mark, bar none, you are the best recruiter I've ever seen anywhere in the world. And I would have been 26 at the time, 25, 26 at the time. And so when my first recruit went ahead and in that industry, when my first recruit quit, his name was Mike too. Maybe I should learn something from that. Anyways, he quit and the president company came in. And so I was 24 years old and he quit and tears were running down my face. And he looked at me, he's like, Mark, like, you need to toughen up, buddy. That's going to happen a lot to you. And I remember thinking at the age of 24, like, I hope I never lose this. This is what gives me the edge. Like, there's not going to be anybody that's going to care more about that person's marriage, about that person's goals or dreams, or like, there's nobody that will work harder than I will work for that person. Like, if that person's joining a company because of me, they can't find anybody better. And that's not ego and it's not words. That's easy to say it. But to deliver on it, that's hard. And so when I was in sales and I was out in the field and after a month and or after 3 months getting destroyed and people lying to me and saying they're going to do business with me and then not doing business, like, how did I handle the rejection? How did I handle? I mean, I had a wife who was 6 months pregnant and a new house. And like, how did I, 23 years old, like getting destroyed, beat up, spit out, making $1 an hour? How did I handle it emotionally? It's pretty simple. I just knew my life vision. So I'm not the sharpest tool in the tool shed. I'm not the smartest guy for sure. I'm average or below average, but I'm going to work. I'm going to work like nobody's business. I'm going to care like nobody's business. And so I listen, Luke. I listen for a lot of things. And I'm like, do I see something in this individual that nobody else sees? Like when somebody meets me, I can see stuff nobody else sees. Their mom, dad doesn't see it. Or maybe their mom and dad does see it, but their mom and dad don't know they don't have the experience. They don't have the resources, the networks. They don't have the tools, the systems. So maybe their mom and dad does see it. Maybe they do. I don't know. But so it's not an automatic. It's not like, oh yeah, no. Like the individual, like they've got to go, I've got to see something in them that I'm like, they're, like with Kevin, I feel it. I could be wrong, but I feel it. I'm like, yeah, that dude, like, I want to help him. Like, I want to help him in his marriage with his kids. I just like him. And so he came over and, worked at our property. I liked him there. Diligent, hard worker, polite, nice guy, just, and so I don't know, 2, 3 years later, and so I don't know. I feel something. I try to feel like what's their energy? What are they like? And are they, because if they're willing to do the work and I'm willing to do if they're not willing to do the work, I'm not gonna. I mean, I was willing in the past to carry them, but now you know what? You got to carry. Like, I'm gonna be there for you, but if like there's if they're willing, and so it's not everybody, Luke. And so what I'm looking for from you is, do you want to change the situation? Do you want him to go from no, he's not interested now, to yes? And then,
Absolutely.
okay,
Is it possible to do that without bitterness, resentment, or
you mean if they
like
say no?
if they say yes, like I want it to be an actual true, he actually wants to. He's not saying yes because somebody talked him into, or I don't know how to
So does that
explain it.
happen to you a lot where you don't want to do something, but you get talked into doing stuff?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So, so he's not like, yeah. So, I mean, I was thinking you were asking, well, what happens if after I pour my heart, life, and soul into the guy in the interview talking to me, and he decides to say no? I just feel bad for him. He's just missed a chance of a lifetime. Like, I'm fine
Not
because I'll
not to
pour.
mention not to mention it's kind of like selling, Luke. Kind of like it's good sales practice.
Hmm.
So what you're doing, Luke, is you're like I'm not talking him into anything. I'm just revealing to him, you know, I'm just revealing to him now if he's lazy, if he's sloppy, he's undisciplined, he thinks he's smart, he thinks he's good. Hopefully I see that and it's best for him to say no. It really frustrates people when, like, if I get on and you say, I don't care, I'm like, okay, what do you think, Luke? So if you don't really have a strong feeling about the guy, like, man, I really want this guy, maybe you shouldn't be offering him the job.
Hmm.
And so that's why, why do you want me on? Do you want me on to flip him? And if you do, it's fine. That doesn't mean I will. It has nothing to do with ego. It has everything to do with, well, what's best for him and what's best for the company. If I feel that there's a fit there, you know what? Like, I'm going to help him see that. Now, if I don't think there is, and you say yes, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's best for him. I don't think it's best for the company. I'm not going to do it. And so sometimes often it's not black and white. If it's like, I don't know. So I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to personality, what's his heart desire, and where is he at, and risk. Is he married?
Yes.
So, and so I'm going to I'm going to have empathy for him and where he's at and what he's looking for and risk and all those types of things. And so, like, after 3 months in the company, I was 100% straight commission position. I passed up 5 other job offers. I had 6 job offers coming out of college, and I passed up another 5 of them to join this company. And when I went through the training, which was 2 days, and then I was thrown out in the field, I did everything they told me to do. Like, I trusted the integrity of the system before I was trained in that. And so just did. And so I did everything they told me to do, and that stupid thing didn't work. So I didn't whine and moan and groan and I just like, okay. I mean, I saw something there. I saw opportunity, and I saw, their systems aren't working, but I could see how, with my hard work, I could make these systems work. And I did. I did. And so when I go ahead, when I go ahead and lock into somebody, it's like I'm looking for, a friendship for life. I'm looking to impact somebody for life. I want them to come out and hang out during events. I'd love to play pickleball with them, love to hang out with them, love to meet their wife and their kids. And man, I got so much free time. I got so much energy to pour into people. It's insane. And so I'm looking for lifelong. I wish I had somebody. Roughly how old is he?
40 to 50.
Yeah, so he's 45. I wish I had somebody, I wish I had somebody when I was 45 that was 62 like me. Somebody pour into me, believe in me, guide me through stuff, help me to go ahead and navigate stuff. I wish that. So Ben had, I think, something that's interesting here that actually connects into what Luke said. So Luke or Ben, you were talking beforehand. You had a question. I love your question.
Um, I forget how I worded it exactly, but basically, I was curious if when I grow up and I have kids and my wife's going through something that she's going through that week, and my kid's having problems at school and having all these issues, and it just happens to be around my birthday or on my birthday. Is this something that I try to do I just ignore the fact that it's my birthday, or do I kind of push for the fact, hey, it's my birthday,
Yeah,
you should set aside your stuff for a day just to. So
right.
I feel like now I think about it, maybe it's different per person.
Nope,
Maybe
it's not.
if I had a
Nope.
boy, maybe I'd want to like teach him, hey, you need to learn to set aside your own feelings for someone else.
Yeah, you're 27 years old.
Yeah.
So, either you had a dad that sucked or you didn't listen to him and you had a mom that maybe overindulged you. So your birthdays don't matter. Nothing matters. You're just a slave. So you like you just you just like like Patrick, he's a great example. Like, why do you have Father's Day? It's for your wife and kids. Why do you have birthday? Like they want to celebrate. Not I'm not saying because they love you and they want to do all that because they're just an amazing wife and kids. I'm not saying that. They want a chance to celebrate and have a party and do something. So, but your birthday is not for you. Like I didn't realize until I was 51, I think it was, why birthdays were important even. Like I didn't know why my birthday was important until I was 51 years old.
What'd you come up with?
Really, Luke? You don't know why February 6,
Uh,
1964? You don't know why that day's important?
I'm not 51 yet. How am I supposed to know?
Well, I think you have a better idea, probably, than I did when I was your age. Luke, that's the day I was born. Are you guys kidding? Like, that's an important day. Like, everybody, the whole world changed. Like, I didn't realize that. Wow. Like, wow. So, my parents, like, they did a great job on me. Your birthday's not important. So, when I got married, had kids, no big deal. Just serve them, serve my wife, serve my kids. Don't expect anything from them. That served me well because I have very low expectations. So,
So would you would you change anything?
oh, absolutely.
Really?
Everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember asking you that a while ago and you said no.
Right. It's
So
changed a
what's changed?
lot in the last few weeks. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
no,
awesome. Good, good,
yeah,
good, good.
totally different.
So what would
Now,
you change?
again, not again, nothing against my kids or my wife. I'm just
Right.
saying, like, yeah,
So if you had an option to change your
there would have
kids
been a
and your wife,
different selection process. like, like, I
I
don't,
don't know if that's how it works with kids, but yeah. Well, yeah,
yeah,
no, it's
I'd have
technically
found a
yeah.
wife that was going to be really hard and mean on the kids. Don't treat them well. Treat them like slaves. That way they could be, grow up to be, grow up to be hard, strong and not need anything from their dad. And then I could be the good dad. And they're like, oh, you're such a good dad, right? Because I don't treat them mean like their mom does. So, yeah, when you get a nice wife that treats your kids really nice, then it all comes back to you and you got to go ahead and do everything. And you're the one that supports them. You're the one that does everything. But when they're adults, do they appreciate it? No. Shoot, you might even write a song for one of them. He's like, I don't care. For what? Like what? What? little little trauma there. I didn't realize until I was probably, I don't know, 61. I'm not, it's clear. There's evidence on this podcast. I am not that smart. I didn't realize that I could go ahead and use, 60 years of my life and all the trauma as leverage. I mean, I had my son, one of my son and my brother went ahead and told me, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago that my feelings were
Yeah.
important, which was fascinating to me because I had never even thought of that. And then what was funny is when I shared my feelings with them, they didn't care. My son and my brother didn't care. I'm like, I thought you guys said my feelings were important. And they just laughed. Like, that's not very loving. And so, but both of them, they're pretty strong with their feelings and they've learned how to move people. I haven't learned how to move people. Whenever I talk about trauma, everybody just laughs with me, even though I'm not laughing. So, yeah, Ben, it's not about you. And that's being a business owner. That's what you want to have. You want to have a wife and kids that, just go ahead and you're there to serve
Yeah,
them.
but if you said you would change it,
Right.
and I feel like back then it was definitely like that, where it was just like, hey, it's Dad's birthday, we all get to go out to eat. Dad pays for everything.
Right.
Um, and so I feel like that's definitely the case. But you said that you would change things.
Right. I'd
So
get a
does that
wife
mean that
who
does
was
that mean
really
I'm just
mean
like,
to the kids.
my feelings matter when my kid comes out of the womb? First thing it's gonna hear is my feelings matter.
Right. Right. And then what you'll find is that you get to compete against your wife and your kids for their feelings. And then you have the whole house, everybody in the house is concerned about themselves, even the dad. What could possibly go wrong there?
Well, like, what just happens? Just curious. What if the wife's the mean one, and then the
Oh,
the the,
if the
the
wife,
husband is the
yeah, if the wife
nice
is
one?
the mean one, oh, keep her. She's a keeper.
Yeah, but what about
She's
the husband? What could happen to the kids? Like, we could experiment. There's an experimenting podcast. We love to podcast experiment. What would happen to the kids, do we think?
I don't know, they might grow up and be thankful and grateful rather than entitled. But I don't know. I'm not saying I have never
But if
met.
if the husband's a pushover and the wife is a hard ass,
Right.
what do we think is going to happen? There's no one in particular that I'm talking about.
I mean, you went ahead and saw Grandpa and Grandma Boersma.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't say my dad was a pushover, would you?
No.
But Grandma, I mean, obviously,
I
out of
I
respect,
started sweating when she walked in the room
right?
usually.
Like, I'm not saying we wouldn't call Grandma hard ass. That would be disrespectful. But man, that woman that
Yeah.
woman like right, so yeah, but there's not a lot of women I think like that. And so I'm yeah, most of the time men don't have to worry about women being hard. Most of the time they have to worry about them colluding with the children and ganging up on the dad. But if the
So
if the
would it be
husband,
better for the husband and wife to be like together
right?
against the kids and you view them as enemies?
I, well, I wouldn't say enemies. I'd just say terrorists.
Terrorists. Yeah.
like, like, like they're just greedy little buggers, and they just self-centered, self-absorbed, narcissistic, and it's like, you know, so you don't negotiate with terrorists. You just go ahead and shoot them in the leg. Just, just shoot them in the leg, you know? And so, yeah, if you can get together, if you can get together, that's ideal. Like you support her, she supports you. Rather than, there was once that, you know, my wife and with 7 kids, she didn't like, something I came up with. And so she got all the 7 kids and her to gang up on me. It was 8-on-1. That was not a fair fight. They didn't have a chance. So then what she did, she got so ticked off. She's like, I'm going to get our 22 employees. So now it's 30-on-1. Still not a fair fight. Like the alpha male, like, he's like Mufasa, like he's the king of the jungle. He's concerned about not himself. He's concerned about protection of everyone. He's not controlled by anyone because he's self-controlled. So he's going to put his wife above him. He's going to put his children above him, even if they are adults and kind of goofballs, And so he's going to go ahead and care for them. And so if you say, well, how'd that work out for you? I think it's worked out really well, honestly. Like, there was somebody over in Pakistan, I think it was, that said, they heard about how a couple of my daughters treat me. They said, Mark, you do know that if your daughters were over in Pakistan, that they would be eliminated. Like, how they treat you. I'm like, right? But it brings a lot of confidence. It's like, you know what? I can be mistreated and, ungrateful, unthankful. I can go ahead and do that. But you know what? I'm still going to do the right
At
thing.
least you feel like but like that creates a mentality where it's just like I'm alone. Like if I'm not successful, then I like literally I have no purpose. I feel like if you weren't so successful in the area, then I feel like maybe some of your kids might not talk to you at all.
Right? And I might be okay with that.
Yeah, but I don't know. That just makes me. I feel like I don't know if I put all this work into someone. Like, how would you not just like? You ever see those like those news articles where a husband, kills his whole family? Like, I'm not saying that's how I'd feel, but like I could sense the
Well, the key is
mentality.
don't
But
have
then he's entitled.
idolatry.
He's
Don't have,
entitled.
it's not about your kids. Don't, like, they may think it's all about them, but they're not the center of your universe. Like, you got a bigger vision than your wife and your kids. Yes, they are your primary responsibility to care and nurture and everything like that. But I got a lot more. There's a lot more of me than my wife and kids can handle. Like, there just is. And so it's not all about them. It's like I've got more than enough capability. And I think any true man, any real man has that. Like, he doesn't have to just care for his wife and kids. He can go ahead and care for a lot more people. When you have that capacity to go ahead and care for a lot more, you just have a lot of confidence, like a lot of purpose, a lot of confidence. And you hope that they come around like at some point, but you are seeking, like, I've never felt that, and we got to run here, but I've never felt that my job as a husband or as a father or as a business owner was to make my wife, my kids, employees happy. my job on all of those is to do the right thing. And often when you do the right thing, people are not, your wife, your kids, employees are not going to like you in the short term, but they are going to respect you. Like, they may not like you, but they're going to respect you. And if they don't, well, maybe that's your issue. You always ought to consider it. Or maybe that's their issue. And so, you know, what's weird is when you get to the point where you're comfortable at being alone, on how many people are very interested in being around you. Because they're drawn to men with confidence and passion. And, you know, I had one 21-year-old young lady, and she and I were talking after pickleball, and she just straight up ripped the Band-Aid off. And she said, "Are you a good dad?" Just straight up, right in front of everybody. I said, "No, I actually suck." She was not expecting it. I wasn't expecting that. And so I can look at a whole bunch of things that I've done really good as a dad, no, without question. Like, I've done this and this, and I could have made this choice, but I didn't. I stayed the path. This is what I've done. But I'm open to, definitely there's responsibility that comes. And so there's a confidence that you gain. And because it's like Alvin Miller said to you, like, when the question was asked, like, how do you not care about what people think? And he said straight up, he said, when you care about what people think, you give them control over you. And that's not healthy for a wife to have control over her husband. It's not healthy for kids to have control over their dad. It's just not. Or for employees to have control over. You're seeking to do the right thing, the best thing, and that's a hard thing to do. But you're putting other people continually above yourselves. You just are. It's what business owners do. It's what dads do. It's what husbands do. And other people will look at your life and say, your life really sucks. And I'm not disagreeing, but is it? Like, is it, or is it really something very special, something very amazing? If it was easy, I don't know. But when it's hard and you keep making good choices, the right choices, the best choices, that's when you really go ahead and determine. That's when it gets really exciting. This has been, you can all tell that are watching this, this is a lot more than just, this is a lot more than just buying a business. It's about life for sure. You both are, bless you, you both are amazing. You have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300 outside the U.S. 630-393-9909. Always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.